Hamdan walks out of his father's study, but his mind is a battlefield. His heart pounds violently against his chest as he storms through the corridors of the palace, his father's final words echoing in his ears, "You will divorce her." But he can't. He won't. He pushes open the doors to his private chamber and shuts them behind him. His breaths come in ragged gasps as he leans against the door, his eyes burning with unshed tears. The thought of losing her is unbearable. His hands shake as he clenches them into fists, Hamdan, whispering to himself, voice breaking, "I can't do this. I can't leave her." His gaze flickers to the framed photograph on his bedside table, his wife's smiling face staring back at him. His chest tightens painfully. He walks toward it, picking it up with trembling hands. His fingers brush over the image as if touching her through the glass. Hamdan, voice shaking, "You are my life. You are my soul. I can't live without you. How do I make Baba understand?" Memories flood his mind, her laughter filling their home, the warmth of her embrace, the way she looks at him as if he is her entire world. How can he let that go? How can he erase the only person who truly understands him? His father expects him to sacrifice her for duty, but doesn't he see? She is his duty. His love for her is not weakness, it is his greatest strength. A knock on the door pulls him out of his thoughts. His personal guard steps inside, bowing respectfully. "Guard, Sheikh Mohammed has summoned you, Your Highness." Hamdan's jaw tightens. He knows what this means. His father will give him one last chance to obey, one final opportunity to surrender. But he already knows his answer. He gently places the photograph back, straightens his shoulders, and turns to leave. His heart is heavy, but his resolve is unshaken. He will face his father again. And this time, he will not bow. The final confrontation. Hamdan walks through the long, marble corridors of the palace, his heart pounding with every step. The weight of his decision hangs over him, but there is no hesitation in his stride. He cannot obey his father this time. He will not give up his wife, no matter what it costs him. His love for her is too deep, too sacred. He can live without power, without a title, but he cannot live without her. As he reaches his father's study, the guards step aside, pushing open the heavy doors. Sheikh Mohammed stands by the window, his hands clasped behind his back, staring out at the vast city below. The air is thick with tension. Sheikh Mohammed, without turning around. "I gave you time to think, Hamdan. Have you come to your senses?" Hamdan, voice firm, eyes burning with determination. "I have thought about nothing else, Baba. And my answer is the same. I will not divorce her." Sheikh Mohammed exhales sharply, finally turning to face his son. His gaze is unreadable, but there is an unmistakable storm behind his eyes. "Sheikh Mohammed, cold, unyielding, you would defy me? You would throw away your name, your future, everything I have built for you, for a woman?" Hamdan, stepping forward, his voice rising, "She is not just a woman. She is my life. My strength. A man can have all the power in the world, but if his heart is empty, what is he left with? I cannot betray her. Baba. I love her too much." Sheikh Mohammed, jaw tightening, voice sharp, "Love is not enough, Hamdan. You think I do not understand love? I have loved. And I have lost. And yet, I stood where I was meant to be. I carried my duty, because that is what a sheikh does." Hamdan, desperate, yet unwavering. "And what if I cannot be the kind of sheikh you want me to be? What if my heart is too stubborn to sacrifice the only thing that truly matters to me? Baba, you have always told me to be strong. But true strength is not in abandoning love, it is in fighting for it." Sheikh Mohammed watches him for a long moment. The silence between them is deafening. Then, slowly, his father walks to his desk, picking up a document, divorce papers. He extends them to Hamdan. "Sheikh Mohammed, voice final, sign them." Hamdan stares at the papers in his father's hand, his chest tightening like a vice. His fingers curl at his sides, his breathing shallow. He swallows hard, knowing that this is the moment that will define the rest of his life. His father is waiting. The guards outside are waiting. The entire world is waiting for him to surrender, but he won't. Hamdan, taking a step back, his voice filled with quiet defiance. No, Sheikh Mohammed's expression darkens. His grip tightening around the papers. Sheikh Mohammed, warning, Hamdan, do not test me. Hamdan, lifting his chin, his voice unwavering, I am not testing you, Baba. I am making my choice. I love her, and I will not leave her. Not for you. Not for anyone. The room falls into a suffocating silence. For the first time in his life, Hamdan has stood against his father. He has drawn a line that he will not cross, no matter the consequences. Sheikh Mohammed exhales, his eyes filled with something unreadable, anger, disappointment, perhaps even sadness. Finally, he speaks, his voice quieter but no less powerful. Sheikh Mohammed, then you are no longer my son. The words strike like a dagger to Hamdan's chest. But he does not flinch. He simply nods, his heart breaking, but his soul unwavering. Hamdan, softly, yet firmly, if that is the price I must pay for love, then so be it. Without another word, he turns and walks out of the study, leaving his father behind. His steps are heavy, his vision blurred, but he does not regret his choice. Because no matter what happens next, he knows one thing for certain, he has fought for the love that defines him. And that is a battle worth any cost, the aftermath of defiance.
Hamdan walks through the corridors of the palace, his mind numb. The weight of his father's words presses against his chest like an unbearable burden. Then you are no longer my son. But even as pain claws at his heart, he knows he has made the right choice. He loves her too much to let her go. He cannot obey his father at the cost of his soul. He pushes open the doors to his chambers, his breath uneven. His wife is there, sitting by the window, her expression anxious. The moment she sees him, she stands, searching his face for answers. Wife, softly, hesitant, Hamdan. What did he say? Hamdan doesn't speak for a moment. He just looks at her, the woman he loves beyond reason. The woman he has chosen over everything. His chest tightens as he takes slow steps toward her. Finally, he exhales, his voice low, yet firm. Hamdan, he ordered me to leave you. He said that if I do not end this marriage, I will lose my home, my name, my identity. Her eyes widen, her lips parting in shock. She takes a hesitant step forward, her voice barely a whisper. Wife, and you, Hamdan, gently cupping her face, his eyes filled with love and conviction. I chose you. Every time, in every life, I would choose you. Let the world take everything from me. I will never let them take you. A sob escapes her lips as tears spill down her cheeks. She clutches his hands, shaking her head. Wife, tears streaming, voice breaking, Hamdan. You gave up everything for me, Hamdan, voice deep, filled with unshakable devotion, not just for you. For us. For my heart. You are my soul, my strength. Without you, I want nothing. Not power, not status, not a name. If keeping all of that means losing you, then I want none of it. She lets out a small cry, throwing herself into his arms. He holds her tightly, his hand stroking her back as she clings to him. For a moment, nothing else exists, just them, their love, and the silent promise that no power in the world will separate them. But Hamdan knows this is only the beginning. His father will not accept his defiance easily. The world will not make this easy for them. He has turned his back on everything he was raised to be, and the consequences will come. But as he holds her, breathing in her warmth, feeling the steady rhythm of her heart against his chest, he knows one thing for certain. He would make this choice again and again. Because love is worth fighting for. And for her, he will fight till his last breath. The storm begins. Hamdan holds his wife close, his fingers weaving through her hair as she clings to him. Her silent tears dampen his shoulder, but he doesn't let go. He can't. He knows what he has lost, his father's name. His position, his legacy. but standing here, with her in his arms, he knows he has also won. He has chosen love over power, and no empire in the world is worth more than the woman in his embrace, but deep inside, a storm brews. He knows his father will not let this go easily. Defying Sheikh Mohammed is not something done without consequences. And Hamdan has just committed the greatest act of defiance of all. A sharp knock on the door shatters the fragile silence. Hamdan tenses, his arms instinctively tightening around his wife. She pulls away slightly, looking up at him with fearful eyes. Wife, whispering, "Who could it be?" Hamdan, jaw tightening, "Perhaps someone sent by Baba with his final command."